Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, emergency crews have been kept busy battling blazes across the state on a sweltering day of severe fire danger. Marking a late start to the bushfire season, it's now hoped tough conditions will ease into the night.
Navigating through smoky air, these choppers dropping water onto a blaze at Broadmarsh. Fallen power lines blocking the road, creating more challenges for quick-acting crews. Flames also leaving dry bushland blackened further north near Ouse, an area already on the radar for fire authorities.
It was one of our areas of concern. The areas up there are much drier. At this point it's around 2 to 5 hectares. But as I've said, we've got a number of resources working on that.
The blaze then spreading to 16 hectares. Authorities saying while no properties were in danger, other spots were at risk.
We do have the Thunderbolt Reserve, Forest Reserve in close proximity, and that'll be a key area for us to monitor, as well as it's around infrastructure, hydro. It's under the power lines at the moment, so that is creating some challenges.
A small blaze leaving this paddock at Bridgewater smouldering, quickly extinguished by crews, with strike teams preparing equipment nearby at Cambridge, ready to tackle more spot fires in the south.
Try and contain the fire from, being large to small, and today, we'll be supported by air operations as well, so they'll be really quick to respond as well, and hopefully, get a bit of water on it.
The area deemed very high danger, as well as most of southern Tasmania, escalating to severe at Bushy Park and Hobart. Those warnings issued for the first time this fire season. The fine fuels have cured off now pretty much, and we've got a lot of growth around, so any start today, we need to get on it really, really quick. A total fire ban declared for southern municipalities. The public said to be thankfully doing the right thing.
I've had no reports of people not complying, which is great to see. Days on this is when we really rely on the public. If they do see smoke, we're asking report it immediately, so we can investigate and respond appropriately.
Crews now remaining uncertain, with potential dry lightning on the horizon.
We're probably looking well into the evening, 7, 8 o'clock before we'll start to see some cooling off, and it may even be longer. Again, depends how slow this system moves.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And while those hot temperatures have kept authorities on edge, some Tasmanians have embraced the conditions. The mercury in some areas soared into the high 30s, with many making the most of it at beaches and parklands.
Too hot to play outside of the water, Tasmanians flocked to the beach and pools to cool off, as the mercury soared above 30 degrees in parts of the state.
Just hopping in the water and getting a nice refreshing swimming.
But staying cool, a juggling act.
Because it's a beautiful day.
We thought we'd just come and have a swim and have a splash and cool down.
While some took the opportunity to take a dip, others basked in the sun.
Only when I'm down from Queensland, man. Different sort of heat, so try and get a tan.
It's not uncommon for us to get up to 30 degrees or more during summer, but the temperatures are above average.
Today's warm weather will be short-lived, with a cold front tonight bringing cooler temperatures and thunderstorms.
And we are expecting very little or to no rainfall with those thunderstorms, so there is a chance of some dry lightning, especially for the west and the south of the state.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Thousands of people isolating in Tasmania after arriving from Brisbane can now leave quarantine. It comes as preparations ramp up for the COVID vaccine rollout in the state.
A third consecutive day of zero COVID cases in Brisbane means a lifting of the city's lockdown. It also means lifting of restrictions on some who've travelled here.
Those people in Tasmania who arrived prior to Friday the 8th at 9 a.m. and who are currently self-isolating do not pose a risk.
Now able to leave quarantine as it's deemed unlikely that they came into contact with positive cases. The government says those who've arrived after 9 a.m. will need to remain in self-isolation, with another review expected in 48 hours. while preparations are being made in the state for the fast-tracked vaccine rollout.
We're pretty happy with the early start, and we just have to make sure that the rollout is efficient and reaches the right people.
Aged care workers amongst the first vaccinated.
Residential aged care has been a source of a significant number of infections, but also a number of deaths as well.
So if we can immunise those staff and prevent them acquiring the infection, we prevent the elderly within the aged care facilities from becoming infected.
Questions remain over whether it should be mandatory for those in the industry.
We know we have mandatory vaccinations for some cohorts of workers, such as the flu vaccination. So these are the types of things that are being worked through now.
I think this is something that the industry is still trying to come to terms with. There are a small number of people who, due to medical reasons, are not suitable for vaccination.
With the rollout to begin next month, it's hoped that aged care will soon be fortified against the virus. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Shocking photos have emerged of a great white shark which is believed to have been caught and killed at Perkins Bay near Smithton over the weekend. The shark was left on the sand with puncture wounds. Marine Police and Dipipwe are investigating the incident. Anyone with information is urged to contact authorities. A family home in Grindelwald has been destroyed by fire. Neighbours saw smoke and flames coming from the Pleasant Hills Drive property and alerted authorities yesterday afternoon. No one was inside the house at the time. The damage bill is estimated at $500,000. An investigation into the cause of the blaze is continuing. Tasmania's mystery millionaires have finally claimed last week's big lotto prize. The Hobart couple is now $1.5 million richer after cashing in the winning ticket purchased from a Kingston news agency. The lucky numbers were a Christmas present from a family member. The winners didn't collect their windfall sooner because they were holidaying in their caravan and the ticket was left at home. It's a simple checkup that could save a life, with renewed calls emerging for Tasmanians to keep a close eye on their blood pressure. Health experts say not only could easing high levels prevent stroke, it could also lower the risk of dying from COVID-19.
Curled up on the couch in agony, a crippling 2-week migraine quickly turning into a near-death emergency.
I woke up after napping on the couch and I couldn't move anything down my left side. I ended up falling off the couch after trying to set myself up with my right side.
Diagnosed with a stroke in July 2019, Matt was then airlifted from Hobart to Melbourne for 10 tiring days of treatment.
Even just talking to people was exhausting, especially during that hospital time. You do a lot of FaceTiming with family down here, and just to look at the screen would wipe you out.
It's estimated 116,000 Tasmanians currently live with high blood pressure, a major contributor to stroke. Experts renewing calls for the public to get a check-up.
Because stroke is so impacted by high blood pressure, we know that if we can manage people's blood pressure, we can halve the number of strokes in Tasmania.
I have a unit at home now. I check it every morning and every night. It is something to really, for the wider population to be aware of, that it is a leading indicator that a stroke could be on the horizon.
While warning high blood pressure also increases the risk of complications and death from COVID-19.
Reducing the risk factor for high blood pressure, which in tune reduces the risk factor for cardiovascular conditions, including stroke, and will hopefully reduce the risk factor of that significant impact from coronavirus.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
After a year in the wilderness, Tasmania's NBL 1 teams are rebuilding their lists for 2021. The Hobart Chargers women's team kicking things off with an intrastate coup, landing Ellie Collins from the Tornadoes. Back in blue and where Ellie Collins says she belongs.
Because the season was cancelled last year, everyone's itching to get back on the court. And being a local girl, it always means a lot to play for Hobart.
The timing is perfect for the Chargers, snatching Collins from the Launceston Tornadoes. Now she's finished her teaching degree in the north and landed a job in Hobart.
Definitely a required player for the Chargers, and we look forward to great things from Ellie and the team for season 21.
She is the side's #1 signing, perhaps one of many locals set to form the squad, especially since any imports still face a spell in quarantine.
I think the same girls will want to stick around. It's a good bunch to train with, play with.
Basketball-starved Chargers fans will travel to Kingborough for 11 home games this year after moving away from the Hobart Netball and Sports Centre.
Working together as a team, getting the team together on court, that'll be the first goal.
The Launceston Tornadoes are expected to announce their first signing tomorrow.
Well, I hope it was warm enough for you today. Some temperatures sat between 10 and 17 degrees above average. Cape Bruni recorded 37 to top the list, Hobart 36, Launceston 31 today, Burnie 24, Devonport 25. Bit warm for Campania, Grove, Bushy Park and Strawn, all on 36. King Island and Fingal 33. Flinders Island 32. Friendly Beaches 28 degrees. St Helens and Lyowini both on 26. Wynyard 24 and Lowhead 23. Sunny conditions today before some prefrontal clouds streamed across the state. A little of instability there over the west and far south. The cloud band extends from South Australia to Tasmania, linked to a cold front. Cooler air is following the system through. Active areas of cloud over the top end and a massive lower cloud over Queensland. Tomorrow, a trough of low pressure and associated lows dominate the pattern on the mainland, with highs over the Tasman Sea and Great Australian Bight. Winds were hot northerlies today, but more west-northwesterly and then southwesterly late morning tomorrow before decreasing in the afternoon. We have a strong wind warning. That's for the area between St Helens Point and Stanley, covering a great deal of the coastline. The forecast for tomorrow, cooling down a little bit. 21 for Hobart with an early shower. Adventure Bay 20 and 21 the top for Tarraleah. Bit of a drop, isn't it? 28 for Launceston, an early shower or two. Devonport 24, 25 the high for Bridport, an early shower clearing. 24 for Burnie, a possible late shower. Strawn 20 and 18 the top for Marrawar, partly cloudy. St Helens tomorrow 23 with an early shower. Swansea 22 and 23 for Whitemark on Flinders Island. UV up to a maximum of 12 on the scale tomorrow, and that is extreme. On Wednesday, fine and locally hot in the south, ahead of a shower about the west in the afternoon and then to central and southern areas in the evening. An early shower clearing the west on Thursday but developing later over the northeast. And on Friday, partly cloudy over the north and northwest but a few showers elsewhere, contracting to the west and far south. Mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow, 33, Adelaide 30, early cloud for Melbourne, fine and 29 for Sydney and Brisbane. Still warm in Hobart, it's 32 currently, partly cloudy in Launceston and 28, bit of cloud over Devonport and 22 degrees. Yes, it was warm here today, but nothing compared to Roebourne near Karratha in Western Australia. 45.7 degrees today, thank you very much. And also in the Pilbara, Onslow recorded 45.4 degrees. And speaking of hot, Lou, you found yourself in the hot seat for a little while.
I certainly have, Murph, and I feel like it felt like that here in Tassie today. That's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.